What's up, family? It is Clifton Brantley. Welcome to the Clifton Brantley podcast. That would be me. So today is day 4 of 30. All right. And today we are in Proverbs 4. All right. So I'm going to give you some really good stuff today about your heart. Okay. So, question before I talk about the heart. How would you know if when you saw a tree, how would you know it was an apple tree if it was an apple tree? How would you know that? Because it has apples on it, right? Now, you've probably heard the saying, a tree is known by the fruit it bears, right? This is also true for us human beings. So, so this is not our focus text, but in Luke 6, it says a tree is identified by its fruit. And then Jesus says a good person produces good things from the treasury of a good heart, and an evil person produces evil things from the treasury of an evil heart. Then it says what comes out of your mouth comes from your heart, right? This is a very important concept for you to get, because if you don't understand how your heart works, you're going to mess up your life. And some of you probably already messed up your life, but I'm going to tell you how to fix it. Right. So on day 4, I want to help you understand that fruit doesn't lie. Fruit doesn't lie. I'm going to tell you what fruit is as we go. But here's our focus text today. I forgot to give y'all my title. There it is. I want to put it on the screen. So let me. This is the focus text for today. Guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. Guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. This is one of my favorite proverbs, because when you understand this principle, you can literally change your life, right? He said, guard your heart above all else. That means to protect it, right? Don't just let anybody pour into your heart. Think about, we guard things that are precious, right? You guard your money, right? You don't guard your trash, but you guard things that are valuable. Solomon says, he's the wisest man in the world. He says, guard your heart above everything else. That's interesting. He didn't say, now he was rich. He didn't say guard your money. He didn't say guard your women. He said guard your heart. Why? Because it determines the course of your life. What happens in your heart is going to determine how your life turns out. That's what he's saying, right? So then that begs the question, what is the heart? The heart is, so when the Bible talks about the heart, it's talking about the soul. So the soul, the mind, the heart oftentimes can be used interchangeably, right? So when he's saying protect your heart, he's saying protect your mind. Protect what you think about. Protect what gets in. Protect your ears from what you listen to, right? Because that stuff gets in your heart, and if it gets in your heart, it can corrupt you, right? So again, the heart is like the nexus place, the meeting point between the will and the emotions. Right, it's where we choose and where we feel. It is who I am at my core. Okay, whatever is in your heart is the only thing that can come out of your heart. Right, the only thing that could come out of your heart is what's in there. Right, like if you put a gun to my head and said, if you don't speak Chinese in the next 5 minutes, we're gonna shoot you in the head. Then you're gonna have to shoot me in the head, because it's not in there, so it cannot come out. Right? If it was in there, then maybe it could come out. So why am I saying that? Because a lot of times we will blame our partners. We'll blame our partners for things that they're not responsible for. They may have pushed your button, but how you behave after they pushed the button, they didn't cause that. Right? You made me curse you out, but I didn't put the cursing in there. Right? You made me break your stuff, but I didn't put breaking stuff in there. That's in your heart, right? So I want you to use that to stop blaming your partner for things they're not responsible for, right? But you can use this to determine what's in your partner's heart. Your heart too, right? For example, if your partner usually shuts down when you guys have a disagreement, then they may have fear in their heart. Or maybe when you are hurt, you always feel like you got this, I need to get my lick back, right? And you probably have a lot of pain in your heart and immaturity, right? That's why behavior modification does not work unless you deal with the heart. Okay, trying to change your behavior without addressing the heart is like trying to change fruit trying to change a tree by cutting off the fruit and then hoping it turns into a different kind of tree. That doesn't make sense, right? Like, so imagine you had an orange tree, right? You got an orange tree in the background, and year after year, this orange tree produces brown, sour oranges, right? And then one day you decide, you know what? I'm gonna fix this problem. So I'm tired of these bad oranges. So you go to HEB and you buy several oranges. And then you get you a ladder and you get up there and you cut off all the bad oranges off the tree. And then you super glue the other oranges on there. And now you have a beautiful orange tree. But what's going to happen to those oranges? They're going to rot. Why are they going to rot? Because they're not connected to the life-giving source of the tree. But not only that, when they rot and they fall off, next season, what kind of fruit is the tree going to bear? Brown, sour oranges. Why? Because that's what it's done year after year. And trying to change the fruit to change the tree, that won't work. Okay? You got to change the tree or change what's in the roots. Right? This is the same thing that happens with us human beings. Right? So I have a picture. Let me see if I can pull it up for you. I had a picture of I don't want to take time pulling it up now. But I have a picture of a tree. And in this tree, there are oranges, but then you see the roots of the tree, and the roots, it has a heart connected to it, right? Because the fruit on the tree, what I wanted to show you, and I forgot to add the picture, and we're live, so that's how that goes. But the fruit on the tree would represent your words and your behavior. And then the roots of the tree represents your heart. Now, unlike a tree, we humans can change our roots, right? We can change our heart. All right, you may be wondering why bad things. How did these bad things in my heart? How did it get there? Right? I didn't choose to put bad stuff in my heart. How did it get there? Well, a lot of the things that's in your heart that's hindering your life, they were planted in childhood. Things like shame. Shame is fueled by I'm not good enough. Things like limiting beliefs, like when I can't is your default answer to the things in life, right? If you learn it wrong, I say this all the time, you're going to live it wrong. And most of us learn how to do relationships wrong. That's why you must address your childhood stuff. Why? Because the thing that we humans do primarily is relationships from the cradle to the grave. But the thing we suffer at most is doing relationships. So wisdom says, if I can learn to do relationships better by finding out, first of all, by protecting my heart, but then also finding out what's already in my heart and getting it out, then I need to do that. Why? Because I'm a human being. And I want to do the best that I can to be the best that I can for my partner. Now, when I talk about dealing with your childhood, that doesn't mean you have to have had some kind of trauma or abuse, right? But the way you put yourself down, right? Or the way you think you're not, you have this perfectionist mindset, you're not supposed to ever mess up. Or maybe the disrespectful way you talk to your kids, right? All of that can stem from childhood experiences. So the question then usually is, well, how do I change my heart? The way you change your heart is to yield it to God and let Him change it. Yield your heart to God and let Him change it. Now, that may include therapy, or it may include a spiritual development coach like what I do, right? But ultimately, God is the mender of broken hearts. And I don't just mean broken hearts like when you lose a loved one and your heart is broken. I'm talking about a broken soul. Like when your life is upside down, God is the one that can fix that, right? There are things that you need to do, choices you need to make to change your heart. But then there's a part that only God can do. The reality is you're not responsible for what has happened to you. Like you can't, if you were abused, that wasn't your fault. But you can choose how you respond to whatever's happened to you, right? And my suggestion is to take it to God. I know that sounds churchy. I know it sounds easy. It sounds like, oh, y'all just say that. No. I'm 53. No, I'm sorry. I'm 52. I'll be 53 in June. I've lived long enough to know you can take it to God. Here's what Jesus said in John 15. He says, I am the vine. You are the branches. Those who remain in me and I in them will produce much fruit. And then he said, apart from me, you can do nothing. And what that means is you can do nothing that truly matters. Yeah. I tell people all the time, the way that you have a great marriage is by becoming a great spouse, not wishing you had one. So many of us want our spouse to be good. Like we spend a lot of time trying to change our partner's behavior, but rarely will we look in the mirror. You know, when we look in the mirror, when we realize they done changed a whole lot, and I still feel the way I feel. Maybe I need to look at me, or that's how it worked for me, right? But I want to encourage you: keep a mirror, not literally a mirror, but keep self-examination at the forefront of your mind. Why? So you can always be examining your heart. Okay, you want to always be examining your heart, because what gets in your heart is going to come out of you. So if you lack faith, some people think, I got faith in God. I love God. I trust God. But then when circumstances show up, your behavior says something different. What I want to encourage you to do, you may consciously think one thing, but your behavior is saying something else. Believe your behavior and then deal with what you see. Okay? Don't just allow that behavior. Don't allow behavior that is contradictory to who you think you are to just exist. I think I'm this, but I don't know why I keep doing that, because you're that. You're not this, right? A former pastor of mine, he said, if you're gonna fool people, don't fool yourself. Like, it's one thing to lie to other folk, but don't lie to you. It's your life. You're the only one living it. Your spouse is not living your life. They may be a part of it. That you may feel like they are taxing your life. They are the thing that's holding you back, but they're not. How do I know they're not holding you back? Because nothing on the outside of you can hold you back unless you allow it. You got to allow it. You are in way more control than what you think. And so what I want to challenge you to do is examine your fruit, right? Scripture says, above all else, guard your heart, because the course of your life is going to be determined by what's in your heart. All right. All right. Join me tomorrow for day 5. Y'all take care.